The views and opinions expressed on the following program may not necessarily reflect the views of the staff, management, or board of Hope Media Group and KSBJ. It's what's happening around us, in our town, suburb, city, in our community. It's Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Well, hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you attuned to the topics that are impacting our local communities and the things that are helping our communities to thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee, and today we're raising awareness for ways you can become involved with children and families who are engaged in our foster care system. James 1:27 says that religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. And our guests today are certainly doing a beautiful work to help people who are in distress. And we want to let you know about some of the wonderful things that are happening to assist families and children in our foster care system. So my first guest is Genesis Elizondo, and Genesis works as the faith-based and community engagement specialist with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Hello, Genesis.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, thank you for coming and speaking with us today. So tell us, what exactly does the faith-based and community engagement area do? What are some of those services?
Of course. So the faith-based and community engagement team works together to partner and build relationships within the community with organizations, nonprofits, individuals, groups in the community, and churches as well. We want to build as much support and resources as we possibly can for our children and families.
Awesome. So Genesis, talk to us about how many children are there in the care of the state of Texas?
There are over 21,000 children in the foster care system.
Wow. And so these are children who are, how long do they spend on average?
Average 12 to 18 months. But it just depends on each case. Some is going to be more and some might be less.
Okay. And these are children who are both waiting for fostering families as well as for adoption?
Correct. So some of these children are planned to be reunited with their families.
Okay.
While others, it just depends on each case, but others are in foster homes or some type of placement, and others are waiting placement because they do not have placement.
Wow, that's a lot of children. I would imagine that faith communities would be ideal partners to embrace these families during such a transitional, vulnerable, maybe difficult time.
Yes, most definitely. So the work that the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services does with the children and families is vital, but we cannot do it alone. We do need help from our community, and we are calling all churches, big and small, to please join us. There's so many ways that you can help. Everyone can make a difference and make an impact, and that's what we want.
Now tell us, what are some of those ways that people, that churches can help?
So there's various ways. When we build partners, we want to work with the people who we work with. Just depending on your ministry, your goals, we will work with you on that. With whether it's volunteering time, resources, also promoting fostering and adopting. That's something that some of the ministries want to do as well.
Awesome. So one of the things that you were telling me about is called Stand Sunday. And it's such an amazing story. So just tell us about Stand Sunday, how it all started, and how churches can partner with you on that.
Yes. So Stand Sunday started back in 2002 when Reverend Blake was very burdened to know that there were so many children in the foster care system and some that had no foster homes to stay in. And at the time, were staying in CPS offices and Child Protective Services offices. So he felt the burden and he felt the need to stand in place for these children. And he also encouraged his congregation. He said, "Who will stand with me for these children?" And one person raising their hand led to a huge movement within that church and community, and even national, because we're still acknowledging and recognizing Stand Sunday today in 2022. And so Brown, Texas, this small church in Brown, Texas, made such a huge impact that there were actually more foster homes in that county than foster children in that particular county.
Wait just a minute. So there were more people waiting to foster children than there were children available?
Correct. And that is specifically in Brown County. Of course, unfortunately, that is not the case for the rest of the state or any other county.
Sure.
But just to know that a small church can make such a huge and positive impact in their community by following their ministry and their calling is just amazing to me.
That is absolutely amazing. So are there churches, how widespread is the movement now? I know it started in Brown County. And so how has that spread?
Yes, it's spread not only to the rest of the state, Texas, but it's a nationwide thing. And so all around the world, all around the nation, people acknowledge and want to pay tribute and do their part for Stand Sunday, which is November 13th of this year.
November 13th of this year. And so what will churches do? What will that look like? Just say a church is saying, okay, Stand Sunday, I want to be a part of that. What would they need to do? What does that look like?
So there are different ways they can contribute. One way a church can be a part of Stand Sunday is to simply acknowledge the situation regarding foster care children.
Okay, so just raise awareness of the need.
Exactly. Prayer is huge and important. That is another way if prayer can be specifically dedicated to the foster care children and the families that are impacted. Also, promoting fostering and adopting is another way that churches can become involved and can help as well.
Awesome. So are there resources that are available, maybe on your website or places that people can go? They're hearing this and say, wow, this is something that I'm not familiar with. I want to do something.
Yes, the standsunday.org website does have specific ways that churches can get involved and is actually a guide and gives tools on specifically how to become involved with Stand Sunday. And also, we really do want to encourage on behalf of the faith-based and community engagement team, we want to encourage you guys to please contact us, partner with us so we can work together for these children and families. And I can be reached at 737-249-8177. My name is Genesis Elizondo, and I would love to hear from you and see how we can work together to help these children and families.
That is awesome. Well, the need is great, but our God is greater.
Yes.
And together we can all make such a huge, huge impact. And so the website that you can go to reiterate, to find out all of the resources that are available to you for Stand Sunday is Stand Sunday. How about that? Go to standsunday.org to find out more of how your church can be involved. And again, that's coming up on November 13th. And so you have time now to go and get all of the resources that you need to be a part of this great movement that is literally spreading around the nation and around the world. So thank you so much, Genesis, for what you're doing. Is there anything else you'd like for us to be praying for?
Just for the foster children that are in care right now, and also not just them, but the people who are fostering, who are adopting, even those who are thinking of fostering or adopting.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, we want to thank all of you for listening in. And we will certainly stay in touch to learn more about what's going on, Genesis.
Thank you.
Our next guest this morning is Tammy Hetmanek. Tammy is the Executive Director for Be a Resource. Good morning, Tammy, and thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Kim, and thank you so much for having us.
Well, Tammy, if you will, just start off by telling us, what is BEAR? What does that represent?
BEAR is a nonprofit located in Houston, Texas, and our mission is to provide hope and help to at-risk children and CPS-involved children and their families throughout our community.
Okay. What is a little bit of your history? How did Bear get started?
Well, Kim, this year is a very exciting year as Bear celebrates its 25th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yes, we're very excited and proud. Bear is a grassroots nonprofit, so we don't have any national backing. And so to meet this milestone in our history is a very proud moment. Our organization was started in 1997 by a group of 7 ladies who were actually volunteering in a CPS office.
Wow.
And what they witnessed was caseworkers who were using their salaries to provide resources of children in emergency situations, children who needed diapers, children who needed sleeping arrangements immediately. And so they had a budget, 7 women, $7,000, and they started Bear. And now we are have a full board of directors of 30 individuals. And one of the most profounding things for us is one of those 7 ladies is still on our board of directors. And we honored her at an evening event last Sunday for her time and her commitment, because it's so valuable to have that historical view in a nonprofit that has survived over 25 years, thanks to a very supportive community and supportive board members like herself. And so we are very proud, and we have experienced so much growth over the years. Our programs have just, there's been a lot more demand for the programs that we have and the resources that we have for children. We've seen an increased need from our families that we serve. Definitely saw an increase during COVID. And we saw an increase for a bigger need from the community as a whole, for different community organizations that were serving children that also needed help.
Wow. I love that story. Talking about the power of how one person can make a difference.
Exactly.
That these 7 volunteers would be so moved by what they saw that they would actually start an organization that is standing 25 years later.
Yes. And I think it has to be a very proud moment for them as well, because it just says so much about taking that risk, and where great things can happen when someone's makes the commitment and makes things happen. Absolutely.
Well, as someone who is married to a person who worked for CPS, I know what you're talking about. How the demands of the resources that are needed in so many types of situations.
Yes. And it's so interesting because at the time Bear was formed, I was a baby caseworker. So right out of college, I was a caseworker for 3 years, and I specialized in investigations in a child sexual abuse unit. And so I saw some of the worst cases that come across the desk at CPS. And,
of course.
And so then full circle, that was the same year that Bear was formed. And then now to be my position, it's very rewarding to work on the other end and be able to fill in the gaps and fill in the resources for these kiddos to, number one, help our partner CPS, who is our original partner. Our majority of the children that we serve are under the care of CPS. And to know that the struggles that those caseworkers face in getting the resources they need in a timely manner. And that is one of the things that Bear prides itself on, is we are able to get donations, in-kind donations of physical resources or tangible resources in one day, and then out the next day to utilize the caseworkers to utilize for their cases their caseload.
Wow. So talk to us about two things. First, what is the relationship with Bear and CPS?
So Bear and CPS have a partnership. And so, and through that partnership, we have a memorandum of understanding, which is some paperwork that kind of outlines our partnership.
Sure, little partnership agreement.
Technical terms. Sure. And it just tells us, it just lays out how we serve their children. And currently, as I said, DFPS, also known as CPS by many people, is our biggest partner. So this is the majority of the children that we serve. Okay. We serve children anywhere on the continuum of services for CPS. So we serve children whose families are involved in the investigation stage, where cases have just been called in and risks have been identified. And then we can provide resources to kind of shore up that family, because ultimately the goal of CPS is to keep children reunified in their homes. Because the research shows that children do better in their homes. And so we serve them at that level. If children are in a risky situation and CPS has identified risk in the home and they have asked a caretaker to move out so that the protective caretaker can care for the children, we activate our resources for that family at that time. If CPS removes a child and the child's in custody of the state of Texas and that child needs resources, we provide our resources to that child as well. And so anywhere on that continuum of services is where we provide resources to CPS and the children that they serve.
Awesome. So tell us, what are some of your outlets for these resources? What are some of those programs that you do?
So we have 4 programs, and Bare Necessities, it kind of speaks for itself. We provide basic necessities for children under the care of CPS. This is our year-round program. We have 2 Bare rooms, one located at the Youth Service Center on Chimney Rock and one located at our warehouse on East TC Jester in Houston. And we provide anything that a child would need, clothing, shoes, hygiene items, feminine hygiene items, formula, diapers, wipes, clothing from the size of birth to adult, because some of our kiddos that are teenagers, they need adult size clothing. And the beautiful thing about the Bare Necessities program is a lot of what we have stocked in those Bare rooms is given from the community. So community members, volunteers, service organizations, churches come together, host drives, and then bring it to Bare, and then we stock it in our Bare room. One of the things that we always require, because we want to make sure that our kiddos, the kiddos that we serve, feel good about themselves, because they're a lot of times in already very traumatic situations. And it's really important for them to feel great about themselves. So we ask that all these donations be new. And so people, that has kind of been our trademark over the years. And what sets us apart from some organization, and it's worked, and people love doing it. So the Bare Necessities program, we just ended our budget year on September 30th, and we served over 35,000 children through that program.
Wow.
And
those items are donated?
Most of those items are donated from the community. And those are children under the care of CPS. We also work with some other organizations with at-risk children. We've also been able to activate some relief efforts when things, we had a shipment that we were able to partner with Texas Relief Warriors that went to Ukraine during the floods in Kentucky around last Christmas. We were able to send some diapers and formula there directly to the CPS office. So I got on the phone, I called, I wanted a contact so that we knew they were going to the CPS children. And so we've been very fortunate because of our volunteers and our supporters and our donors, to be able to broaden that scope for children in our current area, which is the majority of children that we serve. But then when we have these disasters around the nation, we can kind of do a relief effort for those kiddos as well.
That's incredible because Bare is only Houston-based, correct?
Houston-based.
But yet your tentacles reach far beyond the greater Houston area.
And that's our primary goal, is to serve our kiddos here. But it does feel great when you can go above and beyond because
of the generosity and the involvement of our local community.
Exactly.
That is amazing. Yes. So there's Bare Necessities.
Bare Necessities, Bare Back to School. And so during Bare Back to School, we provide backpacks and school supplies to kids under the care of CPS and children at risk. This year, we served over 11,000 kiddos. And much like the Bare Necessities year-round program, we are able to do that because of the community. So companies and corporations, individual givers that do drives for back-to-school supplies and backpacks. And then some people shop off our Bare Back-to-School Amazon wish list, and those supplies are sent to the warehouse, and then other people donate money, and then we have volunteers who purchase that stuff and then bring it back to the warehouse where it's sorted and taken straight to the buildings where caseworkers are able to use it for the children that they're serving.
Incredible.
One thing great about that program as well is we work closely with Harris County Resources, and they have community youth service workers that work in schools. And these community youth service workers work with at-risk children. So children that have been identified in the school system as at risk. And this is kind of a proactive program because a lot of times those children that schools identify at risk, they either are involved with CPS or they're on the road to be involved with CPS. And so the thought process is if we can, again, get those resources in early, intervention in early for these families, maybe we can stop CPS involvement.
Wow.
Because what we know, and from my training as a CPS caseworker, one of the things that my supervisor always taught us is everyone is just one life disturbance away from becoming a CPS case. That it's one job loss. It's one death in a family that you don't have the support to recover from. And the support system is so important for all of us.
That's
and
right.
So a lot of the things we identified as a caseworker that I saw is these families lacked a support system. And so that is kind of relates to what the work that Bare does, because we want to try to fill in those gaps to provide a reinforcement so we can take a stressor off these families.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Love your program. So there's Bare Necessities, Bare Back to School, and then there's another one.
Heart Gallery Houston. And so Heart Gallery Houston, we launched the February before COVID took over the world. So we had some barriers because we couldn't photograph the kids. So Heart Gallery Houston launched officially in September 2021. And this program is a nationwide education initiative to put a face to the thousands of children in foster care, often referred to as forgotten children. And we partner with local photographers in the Houston area and take beautiful photos of these kiddos. They're all over our waiting room right now. And every day, one of the things I can tell you that the Heart Gallery has done to me is to walk into the building office every morning and see those kiddos, these photos. And it just reminds me of the importance of the work that we do.
Sure.
And it's a traveling photograph exhibit that we place throughout offices, churches. We're in 5 of the malls in our community. We're at Deerbrook Mall, Willowbrook Mall, The Woodlands, Baybrook, and First Colony right now. So if you ever have a chance, go out there and see our Heart Gallery displays. And basically, it's putting a face in education and awareness to our community that these children exist. Since the initiative started, 26 children who've been featured in Heart Gallery Houston have found forever families.
Oh my goodness.
And so this is very impactful because the statistics of children that age out of the foster care system are very bleak. And so it's changing the trajectory of children's lives.
Right.
And not every family can adopt a child, but what it does is open up a communication line for those who've been thinking about fostering a child. And maybe not everybody can adopt nor foster, but they want to help in some way. And so it's really been a great communication tool with the community and an activator for people to come forward and help.
Well, I know just looking at that gallery online, I got choked up because again, it puts a face to it. And all of these children have a story behind that smile. And so I definitely encourage people to look at that art gallery, that heart gallery, actually. And you just never know how God wants to speak to your heart.
Yep.
Exactly. Something that you can do.
Exactly.
All right. And then there's another program that is so near and dear to our heart that I'd love for you to talk about through your Bearing Gifts.
Our Bearing Gift program that we have been partnering with KSBJ, I believe since 2018 now.
Amazing.
Christmas Wishes. Wow, what a partnership. I call this program the Fast and the Furious because it happens in about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we served over 19,000 kiddos.
Amazing.
19,000 kiddos.
Absolutely amazing.
And I was talking to Sterling when we were recording some of the promos for the Christmas Wishes program this year. And I just told him, he said, Tammy, every time you come back, you do a better job. And I said, well, that's because this partnership is established. And now we're in year 4 and I can see the difference that KSBJ and the listeners of KSBJ have done and the difference it has made. Mm-hmm. I believe we were serving about 9,000 kiddos, and we always stressed, would we get enough gifts? We'll have to go shopping. We'll have to, because we never turn away a child. We find a way to fulfill every wish list that's submitted by the kiddos under CPS care. And what this program has done is it has allowed us to serve every child and additional children when needed. Last year, the Super Feast that takes place on Christmas Eve downtown, they did a call for toys because they weren't getting, and we were able to take after serving all of our children's wish list and take trucks and cargo trucks and take the gifts to them. And so again, the feeling to go above and beyond is the best feeling during the holiday season. And
that overflow.
The overflow. And we have to, we give that credit to KSBJ and the supporters because it's opened up so many doors for us. I always tell Sterling that it transcends just the holiday season. We've seen doors open and relationships build over the entire year.
Wow, that is incredible. So say a little bit about how does that process work? So you, how are the needs getting to you all? And then from that to our listeners.
So we have a system that we worked on. It's kind of progressed in technology over the years. And so we just launched it. Last year was the first year of our new system through Salesforce. And so caseworkers communicate with the kiddos on their caseload, and they submit wish lists. And these wish lists come to us. And in our new system, it's amazing because supporters or anybody that wants to sponsor a child for Christmas wishes, they just log on to KSBJ's website, and there's a link there to sponsor a child. And what that system does, it allows you to filter for age, gender, the number of wishes you want, and then you hit submit, and it emails you your wishes. And then supporters are able to go out to shop, get their gifts, package them up, put that the QR code that comes with your email on, tape it very securely on the outside of the gift. And then when those gifts are brought to us through one of the drop-off locations or people and supporters coming straight to the building, we are able to scan that, and which then marks it received, and then it's placed to the building that it's going. And then we have moving crews that are constantly taking those to the buildings so that caseworkers can get them out to the kiddos in a timely manner before Christmas.
Wow. Amazon has nothing on you guys.
Well,
this sounds like a well-oiled machine.
It is. And Amazon is one of our frequent customers because that is another way to give. We have a Bearing Gifts Amazon wish list, and I believe that's on KSBJ's website as well. So those that can't go out, that they're just unable to for time, or maybe they can't travel, they're able to go on to the website, click the Amazon wish list, and purchase frequently asked toys that we know come through every year and send it straight to the website.
Wow.
I mean, straight to the warehouse.
To the warehouse.
So very convenient. Yes.
Well, we certainly appreciate and love partnering with Bear for our Christmas wishes. And we encourage you. We're starting to talk about it right now. So you're going to hear lots and lots of talk over the next few weeks. We'll also have some truck stops for our toy stops through KSBJ on the street. And it will really be a wonderful opportunity for the whole family.
Yes, Kim, you bring up a point that I almost forgotten, and it's so important. We talked to a kiddo that received gifts from the Christmas Wishes program, and he said, it just feels good to know someone cares, that somebody's out there helping children. And that kind of opened up another piece of my heart, that it's not just about the tangible gift for kiddos. Like, there is a connection that they feel for people that have given them these gifts. And then just to take it a step further, my son recently ran for student council, and he had to write, he's in 5th grade, and he had to write a speech. And in his speech, he talked about when he wasn't practicing or he wasn't at school, that he was helping his mom at Bear, which is an organization that serves children who need some help. And he said his favorite time of the year was sorting toys at Christmas time. And it was one of those times as a parent that I was like, okay, we're headed in the right direction.
That's right.
And I said, this is just another beautiful part about this program, is because it's also an opportunity to put God's servant heart in our children and show them how to give back and to give to those in need. And so, as you said, like, it's a great opportunity to get your family involved. Kids love shopping for kids of their same age, because they know exactly what they want. And it really makes it easy on us parents, because if you have a question about what to get a 10-year-old and you have a 10-year-old, just take them with you, because they know best.
Yes.
So it's an opportunity to get the whole family involved. And some kiddos that at this time of year may not experience the joy of the season.
Yes.
Oftentimes the holidays are hard for kiddos who are not with their families, because it's a reminder of family and that they are not with their family. And so anything that we can do to bring a little holiday joy to the Christmas season.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all of the wonderful things Bear does, Tammy, and for your leadership there. And I know there's so many opportunities for people to connect with your various programs. You can go to bearesourcehouston.org to find out about all of the programs that she expounded on. Or if you want to connect with our upcoming Christmas wishes, you can go to our website, ksbj.org. It really is a wonderful way for you to give even more meaning to the holiday season. It's really about giving and about sharing with others. So, Tammy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you to all the listeners of KSBJ.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to, again, thank both of our guests who joined us today, Genesis Elizondo with Texas Department of Family and Protective Services through their faith-based and community engagement program, and also Tammy Hetmanek, who is the Executive Director for Bear Resources. And thank you to all of our wonderful listening audience who joined us today on this week's edition of Community Beat. I'm Kim Kasi McKee for 89.3 KSBJ.
Thanks for joining us for Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee. Join us every Saturday morning at 5:30 on 89.3 KSBJ.